Gladys Granati.
Okay, let's see which one is it. I'm Judge Hazel, and you're here today on a charge of domestic violence, criminal damage. Do you understand why you're here today? Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release you, give you a new court date of July the 8th at 10:30 in the morning in Pima County Justice Court in downtown Tucson. Standard conditions of release will apply, including the condition no contact with any victims, don't return to the victim location. So you are being released, okay?
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry. My daughter lives at my house, so where am I to return to?
You'll have to find a place to stay until your next court date.
And I see
Hi, can I have your name, please?
Ryan King.
Mr. King, I'm Judge Hazel. You're here tonight because you have 4 warrants out of justice court. Do you understand why you're here today?
No.
What I'm going to do in all of your cases, I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler to be your lawyer. I'm going to give you a new court date on all cases on Monday at 1 p.m. with Judge Garza in Justice Court. I'm going to set a secured bond in all cases in the amount of $250 for a total bond of $1,000. So your new court date will be on Monday, 2 days from now at 1 p.m. You will have a lawyer. And if you post the $1,000 bond, you will be released. Otherwise, you'll see the judge that time with your lawyer. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, good luck to you. Hi, can I have your name?
Julia Molina Robles.
You're here today on several different things. First, you have a new paraphernalia case out of justice court, but more importantly, you have multiple warrants out of the city of Tucson. I'm going to talk to you about your city of Tucson case first. You failed to appear, and Judge Maldonado has asked that I set a bond in your case. What I am going to do is appoint the Tucson City Public Defender to represent you. I'm going to set a secured bond in the amount of cash secured bond in the amount of $1,000 as requested. I'm going to give you a new court date for a video review of July the 8th at 1:45 p.m. If you post the bond and are released, you must appear on July 31st at 2 p.m. But you will have a lawyer for your next court date. Now, let me talk to you about your justice court case. You have a new charge of possession of drugs. On that new justice court case, I am releasing you. I'm going to give you a new court date of July the 8th. So you are being released with standard conditions in that matter. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
The one that I come on July 8th, I know I have court July 8th because I don't think I'm gonna post bond. But will I still come again on the 31st, or are they all gonna be put
You'll
together? I don't
you'll
get
have to talk to your lawyer in Tucson and they'll help you with that, figure it all out.
all my courts are put together.
Yes.
The justice.
No, I can't put the justice. You have it on the 8th too. They'll transport you if need to, or put you on video if you need to be.
Okay, but on the other one for the probation one, that one's all together still.
You have 4 cases. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all those are put together, and I go to court for all of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next one.
Hi, can I have your name, please?
Shane Brookins.
Can you say it a little slower for me?
Shane Brookings.
What number with that? Okay. Mr. Brookins, you have some drug paraphernalia cases out of the city of 29. Okay? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And I'll see with the rest of the females. Next one.
Hi, can I have your name?
Yeah, Sean Red.
Hi, I'm Judge Hazel. You're here today on charges of assault, disorderly conduct, and unlawful imprisonment. Do you? I'm going to do on this and give you a new court date. Standard conditions of release will apply, including no contact with any victims and don't return to the scene of the crime, but you are being released on this matter. Do you understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
And do you understand the release conditions that you can't have any contact with the alleged victim in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me finish the paperwork. This is the one I made a mistake on the date. Okay, you're, any questions at all?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. This
Sir.
This is the one I messed up and put the wrong image. I think that was the one you're trying to tell me I messed up. Is the interpreter on the line with us? No. So maybe you can reach out to them. Hi, what's your name?
Evan Simmons, Claiborne.
Okay, you're here today because you have several warrants from your arrest from the city of Tucson. Do you understand that?
Yes.
What I'm going to do is appoint the Tucson City Public Defender to represent you. I'm going to set a $100 bond on your case and give you a new court date of July the 8th. If you post that bond, your new court date will be the July the 28th. So your total bond is $100. If you post it, you'll be released. Otherwise, you'll have a lawyer and you'll appear on July the 8th. Okay?
Right.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Stand up. Let's see. Let's get next. Let's see.
Hi, can I have your name, please?
Oh, Valenzuela.
Hi, I'm Judge Hazel. You're here today on charges of resisting arrest, underage consumption, assault, disorderly conduct. I am going to release you. I'm going to give you a new court date of August the 4th. You must
Okay.
appear at that time under standard release conditions. You fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Check on there. Let's see this. Yes. Thank you.
Hey, Judge Carter Santini here for the defendants tonight.
Good. Thank you for getting all dressed up.
I tried.
I don't even make the attempt. Any luck with interpreter? To the jail, if we can hold the interpreter matter toward the end, we're waiting for an interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for helping me with that. Hi, can I have your name?
Dylan. Bouts.
Okay, you're here today because you have a warrant for your arrest out of Justice Court. Do you understand why you're here today?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to release you and give you a new court date of July the 21st at 1 o'clock at 9:30 in the morning with Judge Foreman in Justice Court. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand? Also, in previous proceedings, Janet Altschuler has been appointed to your lawyer, so she remains appointed to you. On your paperwork is going to be her phone number where you can reach out to her, okay?
Thanks.
All right, you're being released. Good luck to you.
Thanks. Judge, was that owner recognizance or pretrial services?
OR,
OR.
yeah, I don't think we can put city people yeah, I don't put misdemeanors on pretrial.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They heard you wanted to leave, so they're gonna save your last one. Is he like a keep separate or something? Yes. Okay. We were on a roll there for some time. Do they have a lead supervisor you call for that? Oh, that's great. My Spanish isn't that good. I would never do that anyway. Oh, yeah, we can always do that, huh? Their Spanish is worse than mine. Usually it is, actually.
Down. Sit right there. Sit down.
Sit down.
There you go. Sit down.
Sit down.
Jason,
Can you give me gloves?
Hi, can I have your name? Or officer, can you tell me who this is?
Bobby Jill.
Staff,
Bobby Jill.
can you help me? This way. Officers, could you give us the name, please?
it's gonna be Hoff Michelle.
It's Bobby Joe. BOBBIE-JOE.
Okay,
What I said.
thank you. All right, Ms. Huff, you're here today on Tuesday.
9 o'clock. Calm down. It's BOBBIE-JOE. You need my socials? What?
It's okay. You can unmute, right? I've heard anything that's ever been said in 40 years, so I'm not offended.
You have no, okay, you don't know shit. This is my life. I know the paperwork. I know what's said. You don't get involved. You don't know.
Let him talk. You want to continue this to the point if you want.
I'm tired. I mean, I'm so tired. Like, they don't have me with a blanket. Like, they have some
So you
shit.
didn't want to get really distances. Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
Okay, well, we can tell you now, but you have to name.
Yeah, Salty. BOPBIE Jazz Jill.
Okay, Bobby, let's talk about why you're here, okay?
Okay.
Judge Hazel, you're here on charges of possession of dangerous drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia. And then after you got to jail, they charged you with promoting prison contraband, basically having some drugs on you when they brought you into facilities. So that's,
Don't say anything. I can all be held against you. All right. Just let him talk. Well, I'll talk for you. All right. You got it. Go on, Jan.
okay, does the county attorney have a recommendation? You might be muted.
Yes, Judge, sorry about that. Your Honor, the state recommends bonds in the amount of $500 for the possession case, and for the contraband case, $2,000.
And is she steps eligible on any of these cases?
On the possession case, yes, Judge.
All right, attorney for the defendant.
Judge, we'd be asking for her release this evening to pretrial services, noting the amount of drugs in question here, the fact that she is steps eligible. So those do rates her to release. If you are inclined to hold her on a bond, Judge, we'd be asking for a much more nominal bond of $500. That's to both cases, given her history.
Okay, thank you. First, on the possession charge, I am going to set a bond in the amount of $500, set it for a steps hearing on July 7th, preliminary hearing on July 8th. Appoint the Office of the Public Defender with standard release conditions. Let's go on to the other case. On the other case, I'm also going to set a bond in the amount of $500, set it for preliminary hearing at the same date, time, and place. Appoint the public defender on all cases. Ma'am, your new court date is July the 8th. Good luck to you. Thank you, officers, for being here.
What is
Well, wherever they bring, they bring. They must be watching the newest version of the Squid Game. That's what the one fight was over, the Squid Game. I never really watched that. Anything I have to think about it. Well, 106 should be coming pretty soon, right? Okay. Do you want me to announce we need to do 106 next, so you have to leave? See how that goes over?
Give me right here on this chair. Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
What's your name?
Rico?
Hi, I'm Judge Hazel. I'm here to do an initial appearance on your case. You have some charges out of the city of Tucson. I'm going to release you and give you a new court date of July the 28th at 10 a.m. in Tucson City Court. So you are being released. Your next court date will be July the 28th, okay?
Okay,
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice night. See you tomorrow. Which number is the interpreter one?
Adonis?
Hi, can I have your name, please?
Brandon Adame.
Hi, I'm Judge Hazel. I'm here to conduct your initial appearance this evening. You're charged with aggravated assault domestic violence. Does the state have a position on this matter?
Your Honor, the state's recommending a bond of $50,000. The state would note that there is no criminal history. However, the offense involves a handgun. There was a Form 4C, which indicates elevated risk and the presence of minor children at the time of the incident. Based on the details contained in the inner complaint, the state believes $50,000 bond is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Attorney for the defendant.
Judge, we are asking that you release Mr. Adame to the supervision of pretrial services, noting that he is a 1-to-1 on the scales. He has no prior criminal history, not even a speeding ticket. He is an Army vet. He is on full VA disability. This incident is related to that kind of disability. He has very, very serious mental health struggles. He is connected with the Veterans Relief Center or the CRC, so we would ask that he be released to the third-party custody of the CRC or the Veterans Relief Center, whichever is able to house him. I think that's a little more supportive given this history. Notably, the victim in this matter is not objecting to release or to contact. If the court does have concerns about victim contact in this case, Brandon does have housing available with his mom, who lives in Tucson. That's why he's moved to Tucson. He can stay there away from the victim if the court is concerned. If the court is inclined to post a bond, Judge, bonds are not supposed to be unreasonable to the point that they can't pay them. I've had a discussion with Brandon about what he would be able to post that would assure his appearance and not be unreasonable. A $2,500 bond would be appropriate, and he'd be able to make that. But I don't believe that would be necessary given his lack of criminal history and his full compliance with the police in this matter would be appropriate for pretrial services. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to take the following actions in this matter. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant. I'm going to set this matter for a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 1:30 p.m. I'm going to set a bond of $5,000 cash secured pretrial if posted. Standard release conditions will apply with additional conditions of surrender any firearms if he has any firearms. I'm going to impose additional conditions of no contact with any victims, don't return to the alleged victim location. I am aware of her request, but for public safety, I'm making that order. Sir, your next court date is July the 8th. Your bond is $5,000. If it is posted, you can't return to that location. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
So how are we doing with the language line thing? Oh, you're trying still. Because we can hold it to the end. For the benefit of the jail, we do now have an interpreter on the line.
Jose? Who's actually next on the list?
Oh, perfect timing, eh? Por sentación aquí. Oh, gracias. Tenemos un interpreter.
Jose, you said.
Is the interpreter on the line with us?
Hola, un gusto saludarle. Entonces, señor, el intérprete de español.
¿Cuál es su sitio?
José Jesús Munguía, Duarte.
Sir, I'm Judge Hazel.
Señor, soy el juez.
Sir, you're here today charged with aggravated DUI, wrong way driving, and criminal damage.
Usted está aquí el día de hoy por cargos agravados de lo que serían cargos de conducir bajo la influencia, ¿verdad? Conducir bajo influencias, ok. Y bueno, daños criminales conduciendo en la área incorrecta.
Does the state have a recommendation in this case?
En este estado tenemos una recomendación en este caso.
Your Honor, the state recommends a bond of $40,000.
Thank you.
Usted está bajo la misma recomendación de un trato de $40,000.
Attorney for the defendant?
Judge, weighing towards his release, he is a 2 and 2 on the scale. He's been in Tucson for 27 years, and he has verified housing, employment, and third-party custody.
Reclamo su liberación. Él tiene 2 y 2 en la escala y ha estado en Tucson por 27 años y se le ha verificado el empleo, el hogar y también la custodia de un tercero.
And he has been successful at probation in the past. If you're not inclined to release him to the services of pretrial services, we'd be asking for a much more reduced bond of $1,100.
Thank you.
Y ha sido exitoso esta aprobación en el pasado. Si usted no está de acuerdo en liberarlo con los servicios de previo al juicio, él va a estar pidiendo más que se le reduzca.
So what I'm going to do,
Entonces, ¿qué voy a hacer?
I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you.
Voy a asignar a un representante público, a un defensor público para que lo represente.
Going to give you a new court date of July the 8th.
Le van a dar una nueva fecha en la corte el 8 de julio.
I'm going to set a secured bond in the amount of $7,500.
Voy a hacer este voy a hacer un monto seguro, un vínculo seguro por el monto de $7,500.
And I'm going to impose standard conditions which include no alcohol.
Esta va a ser la fianza, una fianza segura de $7,500 y le voy a imponer condiciones estándares que incluyen no alcohol.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte a usted, señor.
Pues,
Y su fianza, y es el número de su abogado. Venía previamente firmantes, amigos, para hablar contigo y para explicar cómo pegar y cómo cambiar fianza. Aquí es su próxima audiencia. Este es más una fecha de evento para conversar tardes.
están haciendo la fecha del
Ahora es por julio, es el 8 de julio.
8 de julio.
Sí. Sí, es una fecha límite para conversar tardes.
18 o 8.
8.
8 de julio.
Sí. Ahora. Aquí.
Sí.
Ok, muchísimas gracias.
Entonces, por ejemplo, con la cuestión del carro para recogerlo, porque no sé dónde, pero
So su carro está por Gary's Towing.
sí,
Yo puedo marcar su esposo o alguien.
sí, bueno,
Ok. No tengo un número, pero este es el ponía.
entonces Ya lo puedo
Sí, claro, sí, no sé.
ahora que
Sí.
sea.
Exacto.
Okay, thank you.
Sí, sí. Que tenga un buen día.
Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, you're free to go, Madam Interpreter. Thank you.
Thank you for calling Lion Bridge for your language needs. Take care, sir.
Person sitting there, can I have your name, please?
Angel Marie Allen.
I am Judge Hazel. You're here today on charges of possession of drug paraphernalia,
Your
possession
interpreter has. Goodbye.
of, let me look. So, does the state have a recommendation in her case?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends release of pretrial services as well as the steps toward hearing.
Attorney for the defendant.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to release you. Is she waiving her time for a timely preliminary hearing?
She is.
I'm going to release you, ma'am. I'm going to set this matter for what's called a steps hearing on July the 7th at 9 a.m. That's a program that allows you to have your case dismissed if you complete the terms of your case. I'm setting your matter for a preliminary hearing on August 12th at 1:30 p.m. Standard release conditions will apply in your case. I am also appointing the Office of the Public Defender. You are being released. Good luck to you, ma'am.
That's July the 7th.
Yes.
Make sure you go to this hearing. If you complete some classes, some drug treatment stuff, they'll dismiss this felony against you, okay? It's a good deal. I'll call your attorney on Monday if you want more explanation about the steps here. It's really, really important that you go to that, okay? Okay, best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brad. So just starting to see if it's a few minutes, sir. Step on up.
And for the benefit of the attorneys, the person that's coming up next was in this morning as well. Sir, can I have your name?
Yeah, it's Victor Enriquez, Your Honor.
Sir, you were with me this morning. I'm Judge Hazel again. You're here now on charges of promoting prison contraband. I saw you this morning on another charge. Does the state have a recommendation in this matter?
Your Honor, the state recommends a bond of $2,500, noting the criminal history as well as the pending felony charge the court mentioned.
And for the benefit of the public defender, he's being held on his other charge as well. But
We understand that, Judge. So I would just ask for a $500 bond as well, seeing as he is being held.
I'm going to set a bond in the amount of $1,000. I'm going to set this matter for preliminary hearing on July the 8th at 1:30 p.m. in Justice Court. I am appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant with standard conditions. Sir, your next court date on both of your cases, July the 8th. You must appear at that time if you post bond, otherwise you'll remain in custody. You can have this one back. I'm sorry, I didn't stick with it.
Next one. Go ahead and have a seat.
Hi, can I have your name, please?
David Diaz.
You're here today charged with felony DUI or a DUI driving on a suspended life. Does the state have a recommendation in this matter?
Your Honor, the state recommends a bond of $15,000. The defendant does have a prior felony conviction. It was a DUI case, and it looks like he is currently on probation for that offense.
All right, attorney for the defendant.
Judge, weighing towards his release, he is a 3-2 on the scale. He does have employment and he's a lifelong Tucsonan. If you're not inclined to release him, especially given that there could be a probation hold coming on Monday, we would ask for a more nominal bond of $1,100 given his indigency.
All right, I'm going to set this matter for a preliminary hearing on July the 8th. I'm going to appoint the counsel to represent the defendant. I'm going to impose standard conditions, including no alcohol and no driving without a valid license. I'm going to set a secured bond in the amount, cash secured bond in the amount of $2,000 pretrial if posted. Sir, I'm going to set a bond in the amount of $2,000 in your case. You may be facing a probation violation. We don't know at this point. If you post the bond, you will be released, but you must appear in court at that time. Good luck to you, sir.
Excellent. So, like, how much? So 2,000 if you're able to post like a title to the car out or something. It's just $200, and then that's security. All right. All right. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Hi, can I have your name, please?
Kayla Monet Hall.
Hi, I'm Judge Hazel. You're here today on charges of possession of dangerous drug, possession of narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. The state have a recommendation in this matter?
Your Honor, the state recommends bond of $1,000, noting that she appears to be on probation for 2 separate cases. The state would also recommend a steps court hearing based on the charges.
Attorney for the defendant.
Judge, we would ask for her release to pretrial services. This looks like kind of a relapse case. It's something that probation could work with. She would be under dual supervision of both pretrial services, as well as the Office of Probation. She has verified housing and third-party custody, as well as 4 kids who are dependent on her. If you're not inclined to release her this evening, Judge, I would ask for a lower bond of $500 given the charge.
Thank you. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant in this matter. I'm going to set a bond in the amount of $500 cash secured, pretrial if posted. Setting the matter for a steps hearing on July the 7th, and I'm setting the matter for preliminary hearing on July the 8th. Ma'am, if you are eligible for steps, that's a diversion program. If you complete that, that could result in the dismissal of your case. So your next court dates are July 7th and July 8th. If you post the bond, you must appear in court on those times. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, this here. Good luck. Is
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, can I have your name, please?
Yes, it is Floralena Obregon Casaneta.
Okay, I'm Judge Hazel. You're here today on charges of aggravated domestic violence. Does the state have a recommendation on these charges?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends a bond of $10,000. The state would note the active NVCA flag, as well as the concerning misdemeanor domestic violence history with a pending case and on probation for 2 others.
I'm not on probation. Oh,
Attorney for the defendant?
Can I have 1 second, Judge?
Absolutely.
So, Judge weighing towards her release, the victim does not object to her release. She has indicated to me that she does have places to stay in Tucson. She has plenty of friends, one that has her car that she's welcome at her house. She has 20 years in Tucson with no felony history. She does have DV history, but only starting in this past year. She's indicated to me that with these Miranda cases, she is doing her classes and she's checking in over there. She also indicated that there might be a mistake on the Tucson one, confusing her with her twin sister with a similar name. If you're not inclined to release her, Judge, we'd be asking for a much more nominal bond of $500, given her unemployment and indigency.
All right, thank you. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant. I'm going to impose standard conditions, including no contact with any victims, don't go to victim location. I'm going to set a bond in the amount of $2,500 and set this matter for a preliminary hearing on July the 8th. If bond is posted, she'll be released through pretrial services. Ma'am, your next court date is July the 8th. If you post the bond, you must appear in court or warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
So, yeah, so I won't be able to get released,
Now, let's see.
which would be how much?
2,500. If you're able to put up like title to a car or something, it's 250.
To 50.
And talk to your attorney. He'll come out to see
Well,
if
I'll let you make any phone calls or
they will once you're. Don't worry. You'll be all right.
and housing.
Once they get you set up to the. Once they put you in line,
I can't call my mom to see if she can bump me out
you'll
tonight
be able to. No, they'll get you. They'll get you.
because they got me in the fish
You'll be able to use
Yeah, they'll be. They'll get you.
right now.
Talk to the deputy about it. She'll get you set up.
Okay. So I never got to see man. Oh,
All right, next. Another teacher.
Yeah, you want to get your
Sir, can I have your name, please?
Sergio Alejandro Ortiz Yepes.
I'm Judge Hazel. You're here today charged with aggravated assault. Does the state have a recommendation in this matter?
Your Honor, the state recommends a bond of $5,000 based on the defendant's criminal history.
Attorney for the defendant.
Judge weighing towards Sergio's release this evening, he is a 3-2 on the scale. He has verified housing and employment. As to risk to the victim, he doesn't know this victim, so he doesn't pose a continued risk to the victim. He can abide by release conditions to stay away. Looking at his criminal history, Judge, it does seem to be mostly drug and drug associated, and he hasn't had any new criminal charges since 2019. So he's been on the straight and narrow for a minute. If you're not inclined to release him this evening, Judge, we'd be asking for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Thank you. Sir, I'm going to set your matter for a preliminary hearing on July the 8th at 1:30 p.m. in Justice Court. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 cash secured. If posted, it would be you'll be supervised through pretrial. I'm appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Standard release conditions will apply with additional conditions: no contact with any victims, and don't go to where the victim is located. Sir, your new court date is July the 8th. Your bond is $1,000. If you post the bond, you will be released. If not, you'll be in jail until that day. If you do post the bond, make sure you make your court date. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Go on, sir. Yeah, before 8. Incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Brad.
All right. Good night, everyone.
I am missing one. There's just one that I'm missing. Okay, I'll be waiting. All right.
Good evening, you may be seated. Good evening, this is the time set for the 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar for June 28th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I am Commissioner Dyer. There's a few things that I'm going to explain to you. The first is that I'm going to call each of you up to the podium one by one. I will ask you for your first and last name and your date of birth. I will then advise you as to why you are here. I will then advise you as to whether or not an attorney has been appointed to represent you. I will then let you know what your upcoming court dates will be. And then I will let you know what your bond will be if you are eligible for bond. And lastly, what your release conditions are. Some of you may have some questions while I'm providing this advisement to you. I would just ask that you hold your questions until I complete that advisement. In addition, I caution you against having your questions directed about your case or making statements about your case. Any questions you have should be directed towards your release conditions. Any legal questions that you have, you should save those for your attorney. Just a reminder that you do have the right to remain silent. These proceedings are recorded. If you make any statements regarding your case, they could be used against you later, so it's strongly cautioned against making any statements regarding your case. The first person that I'm going to call to the podium is Mr. Flores, Adrian Flores, if you will please come to the podium. And Mr. Martin Campos, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
My name is Adrian Ruiz Flores, February 22nd, 1986.
Thank you. You are here today because the grand jury charged you with one count of aggravated assault, a class 3 felony, alleged to have occurred on July 23rd of 2022. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. The grand jury warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $75,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim or victims, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would be issued for your arrest. I'm sorry, I do have to change this. There were some additional things from the grand jury warrant. In addition, on that grand jury warrant, it was also recommended that you participate in drug and alcohol testing as well. Okay, Carla, I have made those changes. If you're able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services where you are to cooperate and participate in drug and alcohol testing and monitoring. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This completes my advisement to you. It looks like you may have a question for me. I'm not sure.
Is there a possibility you guys can lower my bond? 75K, I cannot do. I mean,
It's 10% of that,
10% of that.
so that would be 7,500.
Is there a way you guys can lower it even more than that?
It's not me. This is what the grand jury decided. They heard the information. When there are bonds that are set at a certain level, typically I just affirm those bonds because I didn't hear the information that was heard that resulted in the bond being set at that.
I've never received any sort of mail from the courts in regards to.
You wouldn't have, because the grand jury met, and this grand jury warrant was just signed on May 19th, 2025. So you would not have a grand jury, you don't get notice of that. The grand jury meets outside the presence of people, and they hear information, and then they make a decision on whether or not to charge you. And so that's what's happened here based on the information that was presented to them.
Okay.
So if there's nothing further, if you all step to the left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Also, the deputies will be able to give you information about contacting bonding, bail bondsmen or bonding companies that you can contact regarding bond. Okay? All right, thank you. Mr. Campos, if you'll please come to the podium, and Mr. Gar, if you'll please, oh, no, Mr. White, if you will please, Mr. White, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay. All right. Mr. Campos, if you'll please state your first and last name.
Good evening, Aaron Campos,
And your date of birth.
August 23rd, 2001.
Thank you. You're here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of unlawful means of transportation, a classified felony, and 1 count of DUI involving liquor, drugs, vapors, or a combination, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services that will require alcohol testing and monitoring. I have to fix this one too. So, because I had a no victim contact, but it didn't save. So I just did it again. Okay, so if you're able to post bond, you will be released to pretrial services where you will participate in alcohol testing and monitoring. You cannot have any contact with the alleged victim. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failing to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me.
Who's the victim?
You were charged with stealing a car.
No, it's my mom's car.
Your mom, it was your mom's car, and apparently she reported that it was stolen.
Okay.
So,
If, question to my attorney.
So I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. So when you get your paperwork, it'll have what agency was appointed to represent you.
If she calls, like, the jail says.
I'm not doing, nope.
Okay.
I'm not getting into that. I'm just letting you know what the order is here today. You, the facts that I made a probable cause finding of, based on the probable cause statement, the vehicle that you were driving in was reported as stolen, confirmed as reported stolen, and at the time that the stop or the contact with law enforcement happened, that also resulted in you being charged with DUI. So that's what you're here for today.
Okay.
Okay? So if you'll step to your left, officer will give you paperwork. Mr. White, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Gar, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Christopher Anton White, 61097.
You are here today on 3 matters. You have 1 new case, and then you have 2 violations of probation. I'm going to first talk to you about the new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug for sale, a Class 2 felony, and 1 count of burglary in the 2nd degree, a Class 3 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. And you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $10,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you can't initiate any contact with alleged victims, and you cannot possess any weapons. If you are able to post bond, you also need to contact your probation officer within 72 hours of your release. Then as to your probation violation matters, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in those. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. Each of those probation matters has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. So between your 3 cases, you have a total secured appearance bond in the amount of, I believe, $11,000. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. This completes everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
I got one question.
Am
I getting out tonight?
If you're not able to post bond, you will not be getting out tonight.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Mr. Gar, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Carlson, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Charles Gar, 51588.
Thank you. You are here today because you have 2 probation violation warrants. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in both matters. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. One of your warrants has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. The second one has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. So your total secured appearance bond is at $1,250. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure that you appear for your court date. Failure to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, you'll please step to your left, officer, give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Carlson, will you please come to the podium? And Jesus Gonzalez, will you please have a seat in the chair?
Hello, my name is Ernest Monroe Carlson, December 31st, 1979.
Thank you. You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with 2 counts of aggravated driving or actual physical control while under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs, a Class 4 felony. The date of these alleged offenses, it's November 8th of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. The direct complaint had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,000. If you are able to post bond, you would be released to pretrial services where you will participate in drug and alcohol testing and monitoring. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Jesus Gonzalez, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Azrag, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Mr. Gonzalez, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jesus Gonzalez, 5191.
You are here today because you have 2 warrants for failing to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in these matters. You have a disposition hearing on one matter on July 3rd at 8. And a status conference hearing in another matter on July 3rd at 8:30. Each of your warrants had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500, so your total secured appearance bond is $5,000. If you are able to post bond, it is important that you appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants would issue for your arrest again, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. In time to come and get you tonight.
Okay.
So my best answer is that they will pick you up before July 2nd.
Okay, for sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Mr. Avila, will you please come to the podium? And Veronica Medina, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth? Mr. Avila, are you able to hear me? So it appears to me that maybe Mr. Avila is not able to participate right now.
Yes, Eduardo Vila, 7/25/1990.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with 1 count of attempt to commit robbery, a class 5 felony alleged to have occurred on April 14th of this year.
So I did a year in DOC and I cleared my number. I got a clean record and I just got out. I was only out for 4 days.
Okay. So right now, I'm going to tell you that you're being disrespectful and out of order.
Yes, because
when I started the hearing, I asked you to please allow me to advise you of everything, and you're not even allowing me to do that.
No,
you're not.
I just got out of DOC though.
I'm not here to argue with you, so you can allow me to advise you of what's going on.
All right, thank you.
And if you're not wanting to do that, we can excuse you.
I can do it. I can do it. I just don't know where it's coming from because
so I'm trying to. You want to allow me to speak?
I allow you. Yes, I understand. And may we begin? Go ahead and just let me know whatever it is that they got in there. They never, huh?
Go on, just go. No, I never got to do it, so we're gonna make him a house call. Can we make him a house call?
Yes. I just have to do it on what, those group ones.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Medina, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Estedy, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, ma'am, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Veronica Guadalupe Ruiz Medina, 12/13/1985.
Thank you. You're here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You'll have a status conference hearing on July 8th at 8:30. The warrant has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. If you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant will issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. Also, failing to appear would result in the loss of any bond that you post.
It's because when they detained me, I went to Eloy and I was detained by ICE. And then when they released me, I came and I appeared to court when the student that Robert Webb was my lawyer, and it's when he put me to counseling and classes.
So I need for you to first just give me dates, because you're just telling me like what happened to you, and so in order for me to try to figure out what was going on, I need to have dates so I can understand the timeline. Your warrant was issued last year.
Yeah, it's when I was detained, but I don't exactly
Do you remember if it was in the summer or the fall?
I don't remember.
Because the information that I'm seeing, maybe the last arrest that I see that would have involved ICE happened in July of 2023.
Yeah, and I get released in October. I don't remember the dates. I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying to you based on the information, that's why I'm asking you for dates, because the things that I can actually verify, I see that you were arrested, and it looks like it happened in July of 2023.
Yeah, it's when I went to Eloy, and then they released me. I don't know exactly when, in October this year they released me.
Well, it can be October this year because we're only in June.
Oh my God, I don't remember. But Robert Webb was my attorney, my lawyer, and he got me in counseling and the drug test.
Okay, so we're gonna stop talking about your case. I'm gonna just try to look and see. Because the last thing that I see what your attorney filed was a motion in June of last year. Actually, it was not your attorney. The state filed a motion in June of last year to continue prosecution. I don't see anything that your attorney filed in this matter. And so you did have a court date in August of 2024, and based on what I can see, it doesn't look like you were still in custody. And you're not, and this is even based on the information that you're telling me when I'm trying to match up dates right now. So I don't believe that I can find good cause that I can show that, like, if I were to release you, I have to give a note and tell that judge why I released you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I didn't issue your warrant, a judge did. And typically, if I can figure out what's going on, then I can tell that judge and they'll know why. You're not able to provide that information to me right now. So right now I'm gonna have to affirm the warrant and the bond as it is. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, my bad.
I'll be with you in just a minute.
Oh.
Can I have Miss Medina come back into the courtroom? I'm sorry, can you step out for a moment? Miss Medina, will you please come back into the courtroom? Miss Medina, where were you picked up at for your warrant?
Today?
Yes.
56 North 32nd Street.
I mean, like, were you at a residence or you were outside of your home?
Inside my house.
Okay. All right. What I was trying to do was just see if I could find any other information, and so I just needed to get, I'm really trying to see, like, how to do this. Are you able, I don't want her to be taken back. If you can just take a moment and just try to remember some information so I know where to go look for information, okay? Because you're telling me that you were in custody and ICE, but you told me October of this year, and we haven't even had October. And do you know how long you were in ICE custody for?
5 months.
Did you get picked up in 2023 or 2024?
In July is when they picked me up.
July of last year? Okay, and then you were in custody for 5 months?
Yes.
So you were out of custody by like the end of the year last year?
Yeah.
So you didn't contact your attorney or?
I contact my attorney the soon that I get out because my mom got my paperwork in the mail that I got a warrant, so I called and I went with him to the court. But I don't remember what date.
Do you have like multiple cases? Like, do you maybe have matters in city court too? Because I'm looking at your case and there was nothing, and you're telling me that you went with your attorney to court, and the last thing that was filed or that happened, that the state filed a motion in June of last year. You didn't get arrested until July of last year, and I don't see anything from your attorney. So I am really sorry, but I just wanted to make sure that I checked all the boxes to just see if there was anything that I could do, but I don't believe that there is anything that I can do. I'm sorry.
So to get released, I need to pay the bond, the money?
Yes, your bond is it's secured appearance, $500, so it's $50 plus collateral.
$50?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Essity, if you'll please come to the podium, and Ms. Bray, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Thank you for your patience, ma'am. If you'll please state your first and last name and your date of birth.
Vanessa Essity, 10/17/89.
You are here today on two matters. You have one new case, and then you have a probation violation warrant. On your new case, you were charged with one count of reckless burning, a class 1 misdemeanor, alleged to have occurred on June 9th of 2025. I did find probable cause as to that charge, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a arraignment hearing on July 2nd at 8:30. I did give you a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. It is a placeholder bond to allow you to be transported between the different hearings because you do have a violation of probation warrant. I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30, and that warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. So your total secured appearance bond between the two cases is $550. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime on the new case. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates would result in a loss of any bond that you post. Warrants would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, feel free to step to your left. The officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Ms. Bray, will you please come to the podium? Hello, Ms. Bray. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Melissa Bray, October 8th, 1982.
You are here today because you have 5 probation violation warrants, and then you have 1 new case. On your new case, you were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. As to your probation violation matters, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in all of those matters. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. Each of your, so you have, I'm just going to give you the total. So your total secured appearance bond, like with your warrants, is $1,500. So your total secured appearance bond with your probation cases in your new case is $2,000. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure that you appear for all of your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants would again issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, feel free to step to your left. The officer will give you your paperwork. Ms. Martinez, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Dixon Haas, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, ma'am. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Donna Martinez, October 31st, 1977.
You are here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. If you're able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. Failure to appear would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, feel free to step to your left. The officer will give you your paperwork.
May I please be
This is not my warrant. It is the judge that issued this warrant is from Probation Violation Court, and this is regarding a probation violation.
I've been having problems with my house, my domestic situation.
Ma'am, I'm looking at your notes. It appears that you have, I'm looking at your probation notes. I'm looking at the fact that you did not appear for your court date. That's why the judge issued this warrant, and that's why he attached a bond with it. So I do not find good cause to do anything different at this time. I believe that you need to go to court and get this taken care of. If you are trying to get some stability in your life, getting arrested over and over again because you're failing to appear for court would not be helpful towards that. So if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Mr. Dixon Haas, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Vargas, will you please have a seat in the chair? Well, sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Dion Dixon House, 6486.
Sir, you were here today because you have 2 probation violation warrants and 1 new case. On your new case, you were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony. I did find probable causes to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. As to your 2 probation violation warrants, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in those matters. You will have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 3rd at 8:30. One of the warrants has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. The second one has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. So between your 3 cases, you have a total secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to comply with release conditions as well as appear for all of your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening.
Okay. When it comes to the probation violations, like, I think it's because they transitioned me from an.
Don't talk to me about your
Okay,
case.
okay, but, so I did contact my other probation officer. I did contact her. I have documentation of that. That's why, like, this warrant, it's not that old. I think it was issued like from the 27th of last month. Like, I always check in. I don't miss court dates or anything like that. Like even, and then like with this new case, like, I know you said you found, well, I guess I can
So
talk about it, but.
I feel like you are not really heeding any of the admonishment that I provided at the beginning that you should not be talking about your case.
Okay.
I've appointed an attorney to represent you. So any concerns, defense, or arguments that you want to make to the court, you're to do that through your attorney.
Okay.
And you have court dates that are set up in order for you to do that.
As far as the release conditions, would they be able to be modified? I don't miss court dates. I don't have a bunch of failure to appears. I always check in. If there's any way that could be modified, I would really appreciate it. My girlfriend is pregnant. She's 5 months pregnant, and I would really appreciate it.
Your warrants from probation violation, that is the judge that heard the information and signed the warrant and set the bond. So because you have a bond in your probation violation matters, I set a bond for you in the new case, so that you will be transported to everything that you need to get transported to. And the last thing that I am going to say to you, because people say a lot of things to me, I understand that people have things going on in their lives. You have several legal obligations in the criminal court going on. So if you know that you have things going on in your personal life, I will tell you that in looking at your probation notes, the last time that you contacted your probation officer was May 8th. So whatever concerns or whatever was going on between May 8th and now it's June 28th, nothing was resolved. And that's just is what it is. If you're telling me to look at things on their face, and that's what I'm looking at. So I don't have a basis to change anything.
I do have documentation that I have contacted her since. I do have that.
Well, then you will provide that to your attorney, and your attorney will submit it to the judge that will see you, because you'll be able to likely, your probation revocation possible disposition hearing is on Thursday, July 3rd. So you'll probably need to have your attorney provide all of that to the judge to consider. That's all I can say, but I will also say what is concerning to me is that I do see what you were on probation for, and then you were picked up on the new case for charges that are similar. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to affirm the orders that I've already told you. I don't believe that there's any further discussion to be had at this time. Thank you. Mr. Vargas, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Cantu, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Mr. Vargas, are you able to tell me your first and last name
Pedro Vargas,
and your date of birth?
494.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia. I did find probable cause as to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Cantu, if you'll please come to the podium, and Ms. Thompson, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir.
Hi,
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Rudy Cantu, August 1676.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of Ironwood Justice Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing on July 17th at 9 a.m. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
Please be advised that if you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant will issue for your arrest. I will let you know that the suggested bond for this one is $720. I believe that when I looked at this, I think it was your first failure to appear, so I'm giving you an opportunity to go to court and take care of it. Otherwise, another warrant's going to get issued, and at a minimum, your bond will be $720.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, yes. Can you repeat that again? It was a failure to appear? Is that what it was?
You had a hearing predisposition for a charge of driving with a license that was suspended, revoked, or canceled. You did not appear for your court date. And so the judge issued this warrant on February 24th of 2025, and the bond was $720. So I'm letting you know that today I'm releasing you OR. If you fail to show up for your court date, another warrant's going to be issued, and that's the bond that you're probably going to be looking at if you don't go to court.
Okay.
And you come back here.
Yeah, I was, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I got you.
Okay.
I understand
You'll
everything.
step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Ms. Thompson, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Awanewa, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Trinity Thompson, 10-1901.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of assault with to injure, a class 5 felony, 1 count of aggravated assault on a first responder, a class 5 felony. The first one is a class 5 felony as well, and then you have a disorderly conduct involving fighting, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 14th at 8:30. You have a preliminary hearing on July 16th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear? You say yes.
Yes.
You have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. You cannot possess any weapons. You are also cautioned that if you violate the no victim contact order in this case, you could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a class 6 felony. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court date would result in a warrant issuing for your arrest, and a bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of. It looks like you have a question.
I'm just kind of confused because of the charges. It says that I was in a fight, and with who? Does it say who? I was blacked out. I don't remember a thing.
The victim is not named, but according to the probable cause statement, law enforcement got involved, and then there was an assault on a police officer. So I have appointed an attorney to represent you. So if you're trying to discern anything more about your case, you probably need to do that through your attorney. They'll probably be able to get more information. I just have a probable cause statement that stated that you were at a certain location and you were observed assaulting somebody, and then law enforcement attempted to intervene, and then there was an assault on the officer. The victim was not named.
Okay.
All right, if you'll step to your left. Mr. Awanewa, if you'll please come to the podium, and Mr. Pasco, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Cedric Awanewa, birth date 12/16/80.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of North Valley Justice Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 9 a.m. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Please be advised that if you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant will issue for your arrest. And I will also let you know that this warrant had a suggested bond in the amount of $545. So you do need to appear for your court date, or that's going to be the bond if you get picked up again.
Okay.
Okay.
And where was this next court going to be at?
It's going to be at the North Valley Justice Court. Your paperwork will tell you all the information about where your court date, about your court date and the location of your court that you need to be at.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Pascal, if you will please come to the podium, and Mr. Bounds, if you'll please have a seat in the chair.
Hello, Your Honor.
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Ronald Pasco, 7387.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of Kyrene Justice Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. I do just have a question. Are you already in custody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and are you in custody for a city court or something else?
It was a probation violation.
Were you already seen on that matter?
Yes, Your Honor. I was seen on March 31st, and I've been booked since March 31st. And my release date is on the 29th, which is tomorrow. And I've been down for 90 days.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. So I'm not going to impose a bond since you're going to be released tomorrow, correct? So you just were sentenced to jail time?
Yes, Your Honor.
So they were probably running warrants right before you got released. That's probably what happened? Okay. All right. So I am going to release you on your own recognizance. So you're going to be released tomorrow. You do need to make sure that you show up for your court date on July 16th, and it looks like you did not appear for your court date because you were in custody. So, okay, got it. All right, so that's everything. If you don't have any questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Yes, July 16th on the paperwork, right, Your Honor?
Your paperwork will tell you your court date and the court that you need to be at.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Bounds, will you please come to the podium? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Raymore Bounds, May 27th, 1985.
Thank you. You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of unlawful flight from law enforcement, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of racing or exhibition of speed, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of reckless driving, a Class 2 misdemeanor, and 1 count of exceeding the speed limit by 20 to 45 miles per hour, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all the counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on July 14th at 8:30. Then you'll have a preliminary hearing on July 16th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
Failure to appear for your court date or to comply with your release conditions will result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes.
This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Yes, I have a question, like, my wallet and phone, am I able to like get that somehow?
So that's going to be all in your property. So when you are released, they will give you your property, is my understanding.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
Eduardo Avila, date of birth, July 25th, 1990. He was present in court earlier, but due to uncooperative or combative behavior, we were not able to proceed fully with his hearing. He was charged with 1 count of attempted robbery, a class 5 felony, alleged to have occurred on April 14th, 2025. This was pursuant to a direct complaint. I did appoint an attorney to represent him. He does have a status conference hearing on July 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 8th at 8:30. He does have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. That was the bond in the direct complaint, and I did affirm that. If he is able to post the bond, he will be advised that he cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. He cannot possess any weapon. He cannot possess any weapons. He will be advised that if he fails to comply with his release conditions or to appear for his court date, any bond that was posted would that would result in the loss of any bond that was posted. A warrant would issue for his arrest. An additional bond would be imposed. Eric Escamilla, date of birth, January 28th, 1995. He is here on a warrant out of University Lakes Justice Court. He is not physically present in court due to combative behavior. Due to the nature of the charge, he is unentitled to court-appointed counsel. He will have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 1:30. I was inclined to release him on his own recognizance. He will be advised that if he fails to appear for his court date, another warrant would issue for his arrest and a bond will be imposed. And then Mr. Shantae Lee, Miss Shantae Lee, date of birth, September 15th, 1982, is here on a warrant out of Goodyear Municipal Court. She is not present in court due to the inability to function. Due to the nature of the charge, she is not entitled to court-appointed counsel. She will have an arraignment hearing on July 16th at 1 p.m. I am inclined to release her on her own recognizance. She will be advised that if she fails to appear for her court date, a warrant would be issued for her arrest and a bond will likely be imposed. I will meet with everyone, and if any changes are needed, I will do so either on the record or in writing. This concludes the 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar. We stand in recess until 11 p.m.